We're going to learn about the sounds of EA and EAR. EA has three sounds. The first and most common sound is the long E sound of E. So when you see a word with EA, try the long E sound first. EA can also have a short E sound, but this is much less common. Finally, there are a few words where EA has a long A sound. Let's practice some of the long E sounds first. Ear, see, eat, beard. Here are some words with a short E. Deaf, ed, dead. TH will use the th sound in this word. Death, ed, head. Here are most of the words where it has a long A sound. Ache, steak, great, ache, break. This word break means to damage something. Breaking, breaking. Here are more words with a long E sound. T, p. This word p refers to a vegetable. Bead, bead. Eek, beak. Bean, bean. Eat, beat. This word beat means hit. East. S in this word will use its second sound of z, and Y will have a long E sound. Easy. Here are some more words where EA has the long A sound. Air, pear. This word pear refers to a type of fruit. Air, bear. Air, where. Eel, deal. Ear, fear. Flee, flee. Ear, gear. Eel, heel. Ear, here. Eat, heat. Eel, deal. In all of these words, we will use the short E sound of e. Red, bread. Red, dread. Y will have a long E sound here. E, heavy. Dealt. Here are more words with the short E sound. Meant. This Y will have a long E sound again. In fact, usually at the end of longer words, Y at the end will have a long E sound. Red, E, ready. Instead, sweat. In all of these words, we will use the long E sound because it is by far the most common. Leak, leak, leaf, lean, leap, meal, mean, neat, near, eek, peak, real, seal, seat, team, meal, weak. This word weak means not strong. Lean, clean. CH uses ch most of the time. Eat, cheat. Eep, cheap. Clear, clear. Reek, creek. Ream, cream. S will use the z sound here. Jeans. Dream. East, feast. The words in this column will have a long E sound, while the words in this one will have a short E sound. Here we have read. I like to read. Here we have the past tense. Read. He read 5 books. Here we have lead. This word lead means to guide somebody. With a short E, we have lead. This word lead refers to a metal. Here we have ear, tear. This word tear refers to crying. Here, with a long A sound, we have air, tear. This word tear means to rip, like I am going to tear this piece of paper. Most of the time, EA has a long E sound, and sometimes it has a short E sound and occasionally a long A sound. However, there are some words where the E and the A split into separate syllables. In all of these words, the underlined vowels will have their long sound, and A's at the end will usually schwa, which means they will sound more like a short U sound of So this word is idea, idea, area, area. Here we have the root act, and we've added the prefix react. So anytime you see an E and an A together near the beginning of the word, look for the prefix re, and remember that that will be a separate syllable from the root behind it. Here we have create, create. This C will have its soft sound because of the E. Cereal. This A schwas because AL at the end of a word usually sounds muffled. Cereal. Here are some more common words where E and A split into separate syllables. This TH will use its sound of th, and this ER will have the sound of This A will schwa and take on a muffled short U or a short I sound. So theater, theater. Reality. This is two syllables, but it's one suffix, so I kept it together. Reality. OR uses its common sound of or here. Korea, Korea. Did you notice that this A schwad again? EU has the long U sound here, and this A is going to schwa. European, European. If you have E and A before an R, it's going to sound like You can hear that in words like earn, earning, earl, pearl. Here we can add the suffix Y, which is going to have a long E sound, pearly. Earn, yearn, learn. This Y will again have a long E sound, early, early. Earning, learning. Heard, heard. TH will have its first sound of th here, earth. Here are some important exceptions to know about. In this word, E, A, and U together are going to have a long U sound, and the Y is going to have the long E sound. So this word is beauty. If we want to say that something is full of beauty, we add the suffix full. Notice that the suffix full has one L, whereas the word full has two. And this Y is going to change to an I. So this is beautiful. In this word, E and A together have a broad A sound. So this is heart. We can build longer words by adding suffixes and prefixes. Here we have two different ways we can pronounce this word. It can be read, the present tense, or with a short E, read, the past tense. We can add suffixes to the end, which only makes sense for the present tense. So reader, and here we have ing, reading. CH is going to use its most common sound of ch here. So we have ch, eat, cheat. We can add and ing, and we get cheater and cheating. The rest of this lesson is not for beginner readers. We can make even longer words by adding more prefixes and suffixes, or by making compound words where we glue two individual words together. Here we have a word that uses the short E sound of so this is stead. We can add the prefix in, and we get instead. We can add the suffix Y, which has a long E sound, and we get steady. We can make some compound words. Here we have stead and fast, steadfast. Here we have homestead, homestead. This word will use the long E sound, eel, peel. Remember, the long E sound is far more common than the short E sound, so always try that one first. We can add our prefix repeal. We can add a suffix, repealing, repealing. A at the beginning of words usually schwas and sounds like a short U. So this is appeal, appealing. Here we have mean with our normal long E sound. We can add the suffixes ing, full, and less, and we get meaning, meaningful, meaningless. Here we have a compound word, mean, time, meantime. Here's another compound word. This WH is going to have the sound of W. Meanwhile, meanwhile. We can add the prefix D, demean. We can then add the suffix er. I know it's spelled OR, but at the end of a word, it takes on a muffled sound and sounds like most of the time. So this is demeanor. We can add another prefix, misdemeanor. You might notice that when we added this prefix, this long E sort of disappeared and turned into a schwa sound of a short U or short I. E, A, and U together have a long O in words that we got from French. So this word is plateau. CH is going to have the sound of sh because this is a French word. So this is chateau. And this UR is going to have a long U sound. So this is bureau. If you found this useful, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with others on X, Facebook, and WhatsApp.